start with you, Jack. Is the mic on? Yes? All right. Jack, I know you've been passionate about the need to... Something's going on. Huh? Is it working? Okay. I know you've been passionate about the need to fight climate change. I want to get a sense from you of why you think it's so important. I also want to get a sense of why you think it's so important that business has a role in this process. And I know that in addition to the work that you've been doing with nonprofits recently, you've also been in conversations with Bill Gates about the potential of really turbocharging investment in research and development around clean energy. And we may be able to make some announcements about sort of this mission innovation in Paris. Give me a sense of how it looks to you from the vantage point of one of the most successful and largest e-commerce organizations in history.
Thank you, President. Well, it's not the passion, it's the concern and worry. When I was 12 years old, I went to swim in a lake. And I almost died in that lake because the water was too deep, much deeper than I thought. About 5 years ago, I went that lake again. The total lake was dry. A lot of people have disease. And the second concern, I have young colleagues died of cancer. 20 years ago, very few people have heard about the cancer, the word. But now, almost most of the families, my friends, they have people have cancers. So if we've been working so hard, if we work so hard and put all the money in the hospital, buy medicine, look at disaster, why we should work it? So if without a healthy environment of this earth, no matter how much money you make, no matter how wonderful you are, you're a bad disaster. So it's the concern that we have. So we started 6 years ago, put 0.3% of the money, of the total Alibaba revenue, on encouraging, enable all the young people to find creative ways to solve the problem. And I think the money is always not enough. But the money we use try to wake up people's consciousness. They should know that the climate change problem. They should know. They should agree that the water is a problem. The food is a problem. So that is what we think. And after we're doing that, we think because what Alibaba believe is where is the opportunity? The opportunity always lies in the place where people worry. If you solve the worry problem, that's the greatest opportunity you have. So after 5 years, we find this is a huge chance. As you said 2 weeks ago, Bill Gates called me about inviting me join the force together, investing in the clean technology. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I think to me and the company believe this is something that we can do the complete contribution. As you say, we are not a big company. Compared to 15 years ago, we are big. But compared to 15 years later, we are small. But if we do not care about this earth, we do not care about the water, food, and environment, I think nobody can survive, whether you're big or small. So this is the concern. This is the worry I have.
Excellent. Now you mentioned the need for continuous innovation in this area, and that's why we have Aisa here. And Jack remembers when he was starting a company. Aisha's sort of at that early stage, but as an engineer by training, you had an idea that could both do well and do good. So tell us a little bit about what your idea was. Tell us about salt, and what lessons have you learned as a young entrepreneur in terms of making an impact?
Okay, so first of all, let me take this opportunity to express my deepest appreciation for allowing me to sit with you, Mr. President, Mr. Ma, to share our advocacy and mission with SALT, and of course tackle on a more serious matter like climate change. It's really, truly an honor. So my brother and I founded SALT, so it's SALT Sustainable Alternative Lighting, and our main advocacy is we wanted to address the light inequality gap first in the Philippines by focusing on the people at the bottom of the pyramid, because it comprises of about 15 to 20% of the country's population. Now, most of these families live on island, island communities, and they are not connected to power grids. So they mainly use kerosene and fuel-based lamps as the main source of lighting. And we know the danger that kerosene lamps poses. It can cause fire accidents, it emits black carbon. So that's the main reason why what we want is we wanted to provide these people a lighting option that is more cost-effective, more safe, more sustainable and environmentally friendly by a way of a lantern that uses saline solution or ocean water as a means to a catalyst to generate electricity. In turn, it will be able to power up LED and, of course, power up a USB port where you can also charge low-power mobile devices like your phones. Very essential during emergencies, especially disaster scenarios. So that's how we're trying to, of course, contribute in terms of the climate change. We are starting with the lamp, and what we see, the huge impact that we'll be able to contribute is when we try or when we dive into developing like a large scale for the technology that we have. Just imagine if you'll be able to power up a whole island using the ocean water. So our planet is composed of 70% salt water. So that's what we're trying to aim for.
That's great. So just to be clear, so with some salt water, the device that you've set up can provide, am I right, about 8 hours of lighting?
8 hours of lighting, and all you need to do is you just have to replenish the salt water solution, and then you'll have another 8 hours of
And the lamp is $20?
around $20.
Around $20, and it will last you for?
There's a consumable inside that you have to change every now and then. So the main explanation, the main science behind the lamp is it's a chemical reaction. You're trying to convert chemical reaction to energy. So there's something inside that you have to change, but you only have to change that like 6 months if you're using the lamp 8 hours a day every day, and that only costs the consumable part around $3, $3. So you're just going to sustain the lamp. You just have to spend like $6 annually, and that's.
Which means that you potentially save even within a certain amount of time. You're already saving enough on kerosene to have paid for the lamp, and then from that point forward, basically, you're getting a modest amount of, but important amount of electricity that you can use for a wide variety of purposes.
Yes.
So I think Aisha is a perfect example of what we're seeing in a lot of countries, young entrepreneurs coming up with leapfrog technologies. In the same way that in large portions of Asia and Africa, the old landline phones never got set up. People just went straight to mobile, and obviously they're buying stuff through Alibaba on there all the time. But the point is that they did not have to make some of the massive infrastructure investments. This is part of the reason why the old idea of development and environmental sustainability, I think, is outdated. It does raise the issue, though, of how we can do more to support young entrepreneurs like Aisha. And Jack, you have the benefit of having been on both sides of the equation. Early entrepreneur, scratching and clawing to get things done, and then now obviously a very successful businessman. How can both government and larger companies be assisting in creating the kind of climate for innovation that encourages young entrepreneurs like Aisha?
Yeah, government is simple, just reduce the tax or no tax for these guys.